When I first started social media, I always said I was an influencer, and I still believe that. But I didn't realize the impact of my story and the influence that would have on those around me. I want to talk today about parasocial relationships, trauma dumping, and boundaries. And I want to break down those each one by one to make sure we all have an understanding of how this works, and also check in with yourself to make sure the expectations and the relationships you have with the content creators you choose to consume are healthy. So a parasocial relationship is when we see somebody, whether it be on TV or through a phone, and we create a one-sided relationship with that individual because we can't understand that that person doesn't too feel the same. We consume them every day, right? A lot of you say that I'm your morning coffee or your morning cup of tea, and then you go to my page every day for some sense of hope, some sense of faith. So in your perspective, we are on another level than from my point of view. So I've had followers call me back to back on Instagram, call me on Facebook Messenger, get my email, reach out to me saying that they made plans for us. That is an example of a parasocial relationship. When you think that your favorite content creator is your best friend, that understanding that you are one of thousands of individuals that are trying to create that same bond, that same relationship with that individual. And don't get me wrong, some of my supporters have become my closest friends, but because they respect the boundaries that I have in place. That brings me to my next point, boundaries. Boundaries are so important. I think that you guys depersonalize us as creators and think because we put our life and things out there that we don't deserve the respect and the privacy of boundaries, and just understanding that what we share is what we decide to share. We already give so much of ourselves to you. So the bits and the pieces of our lives that we decide to keep private, or the things that we choose not to share, that is all right. It's important not to just call your favorite content creator. It's important not to reach out to them if it's not for business inquiries via emails and personal phone numbers and finding ways to contact them outside their social media platforms. I think that it gets lost in translation, especially when you have creators that love to build a sense of community with the people who follow them and support them. I heavily respond to messages and I heavily respond to comments, but that has put me in position where people feel like I owe them that. So I've had people that I respond to a message or two saying thank you, send them love and light, and then it becomes an everyday thing. And the one time I can't respond, they're blowing me up or they're calling me out my name. So just be sure that you're mindful that first and foremost, your favorite content creator is a person, right? And they're dealing with their own life as well as feeling like they have to show up for social media on a day-to-day. So just check in with you and say, is the relationship I have with my favorite content creator healthy? And is it beneficial to both of us? I love when I get messages of people saying they can relate to my story and they're being kind and spreading love and light. I will always respond to those messages. But there's always ones on the other hand where individuals are trauma dumping. And that brings me to my next topic. Trauma dumping is when you tell the itty-gritty details of your pain and trauma randomly to a person or in a conversation, one, out of context, but two, when it only benefits you. So before you go in your favorite creator's inbox and say, this happened to me when I was 7, this person did it. When I was 9, this happened to me, and this is how it happened. You have to remember that people like me are an empath. I pick up on energy. When I read those messages, I truly feel for you. And then it becomes overwhelming and too anxious for me to even want to answer messages because I'm afraid that there are going to be things like that and there's nothing I can do for you in that moment. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a life coach. I do offer services for one-on-one if you need advice and stuff like that. But you guys have to be mindful that that is not healthy for anyone. You shouldn't trauma dump on your friends either. It's important when we want to talk about our trauma to ask ourselves, how does this benefit me and does it benefit the conversation? It's okay to talk about your trauma when you're trying to help someone better understand why you behave in a particular way. But if it's not to bring clarification to a situation, it's not okay or healthy to just dump onto a complete stranger. Um, and just going back to parasocial relationships, that's what that comes from. It's never okay to just call somebody on social media. It's never okay to just hit somebody up and expect that they owe you some sort of conversation. You got to be mindful. I don't have too many followers on Instagram and TikTok. I've only got 13,000 on IG and 42,000 on here. But at least 50% of those people are messaging me. So if I can't get to you, it's not because I don't see you. It's not because you're not worthy. It's not because you're not enough. It is simply because I get those messages at such a rapid rate and I don't have the capacity to respond to them all. I went from 800 to 13,000 followers in a 1 month span of time. So I'm moving up and learning as I go. But I don't consider myself a content creator. I just consider myself somebody who got on social media in order to show other people who have gone through trauma, pain, foster care, addiction, and overcame mental health disorders that you can tap into the power within your soul and your spirit and achieve great things. So if you can relate to that, I understand why you would want to connect with me, but you also have to understand there's thousands of other people too trying to connect with me, and I offer services where I'm available to that. But my Instagram inbox and my email are not the place to do so, as well as calling me. I don't know you, and I really don't even call my family like that because I hate talking on the phone. So for someone to call me 3 times and think that telling me they're not weird is going to make me want to answer even more, you just got to be mindful. Is this healthy? Does this solely benefit me, or is this going to be a relationship that both of us are being watered in? I've made some great friends through social media, but they happened organically and naturally, and neither one of us were expecting or demanding anything from the other, especially when it comes to trauma, but also when it comes to Thailand. A lot of you are guilting me in the sense of, oh, I'm a black member of the LGBT community. You should be teaching all of us how to do what you did. I want to know how much this costs, how much is a plane ticket, how much is rent. And my inbox demanding the information, but not taking a moment to actually scroll and do the research, realizing that my YouTube is always planted in my social media platforms, so you guys subscribe and get the details of my how Thailand, my why Thailand, the visa process of Thailand, etc. And sign up for my Patreon for one-on-one sessions where you could get detailed advice in that manner. You could get my ebook and so many other things. See, content creators put together their information for you, but a lot of you aren't willing to look. You just demand that we tell you because you can relate, whether it be because you're black or brown, whether it be because you're LGBT, whether it be because you're a woman, or just because you want to move to Thailand. I don't owe you that. I share it with you because I love you guys and I want you guys to see what is possible and help create information where it doesn't exist. And also, I want to be somebody who represents black, LGBT, woman taking a stand in their life. But I don't owe you that. I do it because I want to. And I think it's important to remember that. All of that information is available to you. But I'm also learning. I moved here on faith with $1,500 in my bank account, no plan, no job. So I can't tell you how your journey would need to be. I can't tell you how your flight would cost. I'm not leaving from the state that you left in. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not a travel agent. I don't work for Expedia. All those details I will post as I learn, but you also have access to the information, whether it be through my YouTube or whether it just be the internet. Keep watching, and I promise all the information will reveal itself as I encounter those things. But the main takeaway from today is just to be mindful. Your favorite content creator is a person first. Yes, we create and we put our lives out there, but because we want to lead and show you guys by example what is possible. But you make it hard when you make us feel like we owe you something. We're all in this together. Give us grace, give us compassion, the same way we do all of you. I love you, and I hope that was educational. Peace.